I was laid off after 12 years, and my wife promised she'd support me. A week later, I heard her whispering on the phone, "I'm tired of carrying him. He's not a man." I pretended not to hear. The next day, she told me to sleep on the couch, to clear my head. But I checked the doorbell camera, and watched her let a man in at 1 a.m. That video helped me win full custody. I worked for the same logistics company in Minneapolis for 12 years. I wasn't the smartest guy in the room, but I showed up early, stayed late, took on projects no one else wanted, and trained new hires without being asked. I never asked for special treatment. I just did my job. 12 years. Not a single write-up. Not a single sick day taken unless it was for my kids. And then one Tuesday morning, they called us all into the main conference room. Everyone had that look. The one where no one wants to be the first to say it out loud, but everyone knows it's bad news. I already felt it in my gut. The VP came in with a folder. HR was behind him. They called 6 names. Mine was one of them. They said it wasn't personal. Just restructuring. I remember nodding, pretending I understood. Like I could swallow it right then and there without choking. I walked out carrying a cardboard box with my nameplate and a few pens. I got in my car and sat there for maybe 10 minutes. Didn't cry. Didn't scream. I just thought about what I'd say to Denise. We've been married for 15 years. We've got 2 daughters, Clara, 10, and Ellie, 7. Denise hasn't worked in over a decade. After Ellie was born, she said she wanted to be a full-time mom. I supported that. I didn't mind being the one to earn. I saw it as teamwork. She handled the house and the kids. I handled everything else. I got home around noon. I opened the garage like usual, walked in with my box. She was sitting at the kitchen table, scrolling on her phone. When I told her what happened, she didn't ask for details. She didn't even get up. She said, "Okay, well, what's the plan?" That hit me hard. I was still trying to process that I'd been let go after 12 damn years. I told her I needed a few days to regroup. I'd file for unemployment, reach out to old contacts. Maybe even take something part-time to get us through. She just nodded and went back to her phone. That night she didn't come to bed until after I fell asleep. Over the next few days, she got colder. It was little things at first. No goodbye kisses when I left to drop off the girls. No, "How are you holding up?" Just silence. I started doing more around the house to make up for it. Dishes, laundry, picking up groceries. I thought maybe that'd help. I was trying to show I wasn't just going to sit around. Then, one afternoon, I came home early from running errands. The house was quiet. I was walking down the hall to the bedroom when I heard her voice. She was on the phone. Whispering. "I'm tired of carrying him," she said. "He's not even a man anymore. He's like, this lump. I can't keep doing this." I froze. I felt sick. She was talking about me. I stayed quiet and listened. "No, not yet," she said. "I need to be smart. I'll make it look like he's the one pulling away." I turned around and walked back out like I'd forgotten something in the car. I made noise coming back in. She pretended she was reading on the couch. That night, she barely said 2 words to me. The next day, she told me I should sleep on the couch. "Why?" I asked. She didn't meet my eyes. "You need space. Maybe it'll help clear your head." I said, "You mean you need space?" She just looked at me and said, "It's not always about you." I didn't fight her. I went downstairs and slept on the couch. But I didn't sleep. I stayed up, staring at the ceiling. Around 1 a.m., I got a notification on my phone from the doorbell app. Someone was at the door. I opened the live feed. There she was. Standing in the front hallway, barefoot, wearing her robe. She glanced over her shoulder, then opened the door slowly. A man walked in. I didn't know him. Younger. Tall, fit, kind of smug-looking. He stepped inside and didn't say a word. She kissed him the second the door closed. Not just a peck. Full on, arms wrapped around the neck kind of kiss. The kind I hadn't gotten from her in months. They went upstairs. I sat there, holding the phone. I felt numb. I saved the footage and sent it to my private email. I downloaded backups to a USB drive I kept hidden. Then I started making a plan. For the next 2 weeks, I acted normal. Like I hadn't seen anything. I got up, made breakfast for the girls, helped with homework, even offered to take them to soccer practice when Denise had a headache. Meanwhile, I met with a lawyer. He told me I needed to document everything. So I did. I made notes every day, what time she left, who she talked to, anything odd. I even started keeping the girls with me more. She didn't care. She wanted space. Then, a few days later, I found her texts. She'd left her tablet unlocked. There were messages between her and the guy, Mike. Things like, soon. He's breaking down. We'll have the house to ourselves in no time. He doesn't even fight back. It's like he wants me to leave. I screenshot everything. Sent that to my lawyer too. Then she filed for divorce. She claimed I was emotionally unstable, irresponsible, unmotivated. Said I wasn't capable of taking care of the girls. Claimed she was the only real parent and deserved full custody. She even wanted spousal support because she'd sacrificed her career for the family. I was shaking with anger. At the hearing, her lawyer made me sound like some deadbeat who gave up after one setback. They talked like she was the saint who stood by me. Then my lawyer pulled out the laptop. He played the doorbell video. Silence. She went pale. Her lawyer whispered something to her, but she just stared at the screen. Then he showed the text messages. The ones where she admitted she was planning to kick me out and keep the house. Her whole story crumbled. The judge didn't take long. He ruled in my favor. Temporary full custody to me. House stays in my name. No spousal support. She gets visitation twice a month, for now. Mike? Turns out he has a record. Nothing huge, but enough that the court didn't like him being around my kids. Denise moved out 2 weeks later. She didn't say goodbye. Just packed a bag and left while I was at work. The girls asked where she was going. I said she needed time to figure things out. I didn't want to poison them against her. I still don't. But when they're old enough, they'll know. I didn't have to scream. I didn't have to hit anything. I just waited. Watched. Documented. And when it was time, I let the truth speak for itself. A few days after Denise moved out, I got a call from her sister, Marla. I'd always gotten along with Marla. She was blunt but fair. She watched the girls sometimes when Denise was too tired. Is it true? She asked right away. About the guy in the video? I said yeah. It was all true. The video, the texts, the lies. She let out a long sigh. Jesus. She told us you lost your mind. Said you got paranoid and made it all up. I laughed bitterly. You want to see the footage? I still have it. I'll show anyone who wants to see it. No, she said. I believe you. She's been different. Off. I told her not to file like this. I told her it would blow up in her face. It already had. But the worst part wasn't over. A week after the custody decision, I started getting texts from unknown numbers. Stuff like, "You stole her kids. She deserves better than you. Hope you're proud of ruining a good woman's life." At first I thought they were spam. But one message used the girls' names. Another had my address. Denise was talking. I changed my number. Blocked everything. But it kept creeping back in. Then Clara came home from one of the supervised visits looking confused. "Mom said you lied to the judge," she told me. I sat down. "What do you mean?" She said the video was fake. That you edited it to make her look bad. I felt my throat tighten. "Sweetheart," I said carefully, "what you saw was real. You know I wouldn't lie to you, right?" She nodded slowly, but I could see it had gotten in her head. Denise was planting seeds. Using the little time she had to chip away at the girl's trust in me. I told my lawyer. We pushed for psychological review. The court agreed. Denise didn't do well in the evaluation. She was defensive. Rambling. She kept blaming me for everything. She even said I was brainwashing the children. But while that was going on, something else happened. I started getting letters. The first one was folded and taped to my mailbox. No return address. Just 3 words, scribbled in marker. "You're not safe." I brought it inside. Took a photo. Called my lawyer again. He said document it, don't respond. But the notes kept coming. One left on my windshield. Another one slid under my garage door. Then one night, the motion light in my backyard flipped on around 2:20 a.m. I checked the cameras. A man in a hoodie had walked up to the fence, looked straight into the lens, and walked away. I couldn't tell if it was Mike. I filed a police report. They logged it but couldn't do much without a clear ID or a direct threat. So I started locking every door twice. Bought a second camera for the back window. I even started sleeping with a bat under the bed, just in case. A few days later, I found muddy footprints in the snow, leading from the alley to the back porch. The girls were at school. I checked the footage. Nothing clear, just motion blur. That night, I had a long talk with Clara and Ellie. I told them if anyone ever tried to talk to them outside school, they needed to call me immediately. I didn't want to scare them, but I had to keep them safe. Then came the custody appeal. Denise wanted another hearing. She claimed I was emotionally unstable and paranoid, that the video was circumstantial and possibly manipulated. Her new lawyer was slick, young, and aggressive. He said the doorbell cam could have been staged. We were back in court. My lawyer had the original files, timestamps, cloud backups, all clean. We had her own texts. Her audio. But her lawyer tried to flip the narrative. He said I was controlling. That I had a fixation on surveillance. That I was painting myself as a victim to cover my failures as a husband. I thought the judge might waver. Then something unexpected happened. Marla showed up. She took the stand. "I saw the man," she said. "Mike. I saw him leave Denise's room at 7 a.m. the next morning. I was there to drop off Ellie's soccer cleats. Denise didn't know I was coming." Her words sealed it. Again. The judge denied Denise's appeal. Reinstated my custody. Ordered her to attend mandatory therapy if she wanted any unsupervised time with the girls in the future. After that, Denise stopped trying. But the texts didn't. The stalking didn't. And one night, something happened that changed everything. It was late February. Snow still covered most of the ground in our neighborhood, but it had started to melt just enough to make everything muddy and gray. That night, the girls were asleep upstairs. I was in the kitchen doing dishes, finally feeling like maybe, just maybe, things were settling down. That's when the power went out. Not the whole block. Just my house. Everything went black. I looked out the window, streetlights were still on. Neighbor's porch light too. I felt a rush of cold run through me. This wasn't normal. I grabbed my phone and checked the breaker box. Nothing tripped. Then I noticed the garage door was slightly open. Just an inch or two. But it had been shut earlier. I know because I double-checked it before putting the girls to bed. I didn't say a word. I grabbed the bat from the hall closet, crept over, and pulled the door wide open. Empty. Or so I thought. I started to back away when I heard it. A soft click. Like metal. I turned fast. And there, standing behind my car, was a man. Hood up. Face hidden in the shadows. He didn't say anything. Just stood there. Back the F*** off, I said. Bat raised. He didn't move. But he didn't lunge either. He just stared. Then slowly turned and walked out through the side door of the garage. Calm. Like he wasn't in a rush. I called the cops. They showed up 20 minutes later. Took a report. Said there were no signs of forced entry. Probably a prank. I showed them the camera footage. This time, it was clear. It was Mike. I knew his build, his walk, the same cheap hoodie he wore in the first doorbell video. The officer said they'd have a word with him, but unless he was caught doing something violent or making a clear threat, there wasn't much they could do. So I did something else. I hired a private investigator. I gave him Mike's name. Denise's name. Told him everything. Within a week, he had a file for me. Photos. Logs. Records. Turns out, Mike wasn't just some rebound. He was a scammer. He'd been involved with at least 3 women before Denise, each one older, with kids, each one who ended up either drained financially or filed against him for harassment. Restraining orders. One even had to move states. He was using Denise. And I don't think she even knew how deep she was in. The PI also found something else. Mike had filed to legally change his name 5 years ago. Guess what his old name was? Mark Chambers. A man arrested in Ohio for assaulting his ex-girlfriend and threatening her son. I sent everything to my lawyer. We called an emergency custody review. This time, we didn't just show the judge a video. We showed a pattern. The judge froze all of Denise's visitation rights. Ordered a full investigation. Said if she allowed Mike anywhere near the girls again, she'd be facing criminal charges. Denise lost it. She called me that night, screaming. First time I'd heard her voice in weeks. "You're destroying my life." "No," I said. "You did that. I'm just making sure you don't take anyone else down with you." She tried to show up at the house the next day. Banged on the door for 10 minutes while the girls cried upstairs. I called the cops again. This time, they issued a warning, next time it'd be trespassing. But that wasn't the end. That weekend, someone slashed my tires. All 4. The PI caught it on camera, again, it was Mike. Only now, we had it from 2 angles. Clear enough to press charges. We handed it over to the police. And the night after that, Denise sent me one final text: "You think this is over? It's not. You're going to regret humiliating me." She was spiraling. And it wasn't just me in danger anymore. I made a call that night to someone I hadn't spoken to in years, my older brother, Ray. We'd grown apart, mostly over stupid stuff, but he was a former cop. Now he worked private security in North Dakota. I asked him to come stay for a few weeks. He said, "I'll be there tomorrow." Ray showed up the next day just after lunch. He was still built like a cop, broad shoulders, square jaw, calm eyes that missed nothing. He brought his duffel bag, his gun, licensed, and that quiet intensity that used to scare the hell out of me when we were kids. He didn't ask a lot of questions. I showed him the footage, explained the situation. He nodded once and said, "All right. Let's fix this." For the next few days, Ray stayed low-key. Helped with school drop-offs, kept an eye on the cameras, did walk-arounds at night with me. He never talked much, but when he did, it was short and serious. "You gave her too much rope," he said once. He was right. I had spent months trying to be the good guy. The calm one. The dad who just wanted to protect his kids and avoid drama. I thought that made me the bigger man. But maybe I let it go on too long. That Friday night, Ray and I were sitting in the kitchen when he suddenly said, "He's outside." I checked the monitor. Mike was back. But this time he wasn't alone. He had Denise with him. They were in the driveway, yelling at each other. She was waving her arms, he was pushing her back toward the car. I hit record immediately. Then I heard it. Glass breaking. From the side window. Ray stood up. "He's trying to force his way in," he said. I called the police. Ray stepped outside, hand on his hip where the holster was. He didn't pull it. Just stood there, solid as stone. Mike saw him and froze. Ray said calmly, "You're on camera. Police are on the way. You should leave." Mike yelled something about his kids and his house. He looked unhinged. Denise was trying to calm him down, but it was like she wasn't all there either. Like she'd lost her grip completely. When the cops arrived 5 minutes later, Mike didn't go quietly. He shouted. Fought. Got taken down on the lawn while Ray stood with his arms crossed. Denise screamed the whole time. This is his fault. He ruined everything. They arrested Mike for attempted breaking and entering, destruction of property, and violation of a protection order. The cops asked Denise to leave too. She refused, so they charged her with obstruction. It was over in less than 20 minutes. But the fallout lasted months. Mike got 6 months jail time. Not much, but enough to keep him away. Denise? CPS got involved. She lost all custody rights. Permanently. But here's where I have to be honest. I wasn't perfect either. After the dust settled, Ray pulled me aside one night. You need to get help, he said. You're doing good now, but you're running on rage. He was right. I hadn't slept more than 4 hours a night in months. I was always tense, snapping at the girls, second-guessing every knock on the door. Even when we were safe, I didn't feel safe. I went to therapy. I started talking. It helped. Slowly. The girls healed too. They asked fewer questions about their mom. I never bad-mouthed her, even when I wanted to. I let the truth speak for itself. One day, Clara came home with a drawing. It was me, her, Ellie, and Ray standing in front of the house. Underneath, she'd written, "Our real family." I kept it in my wallet. That camera, the one thing Denise never thought about, saved us. Not just from losing custody, but from something darker. Something that could have swallowed all of us. She gambled with everything, thinking I'd break. Instead, I built something stronger. Not out of revenge. Not even out of anger. But out of the one thing she stopped believing in, being a man who never leaves his kids behind. No matter what.